49ers Ultimate Report. This is Jon Jay, your 49ers reporter, opinionist, analyst, and die-hard fan. Before we jump into the episode, I want to give a major shout out to all of my subscribers going back to the start of this channel all the way to this past week. I want to say thank you for all the great support you guys, give me every single time I'm on here talking 49ers football. So I want to say always thank you very much, guys, for your great, wonderful support. And this is a great place if you're looking for some good 49ers content and covering the red and gold 49ers, which is the best team in the NFL. But besides that, today we have another wonderful guest on this wonderful show. I have brought on many great guests. I've brought in great experts. But now, yesterday, if you missed my show, I brought in Pfeiffer Football, a guy who covers, football. And today I have a very good special guest. Just like I had touchdowns and tight ends, those ladies were really great. If you've missed that live stream, go to my playlist and check out my guests and watch touchdowns and tight ends. You have Ashley and Nicole, Chargers and Niners fans. But now I have a great guest on. The same thing, just like Ashley and Nicole, we have a lady, but not just a person who just covers one team or one sport, but covers sports in general. And as I made a promise earlier in the summer, I want to bring in the ladies here to also talk for not just 49ers football, but NFL and sports in general, because we can't forget, guys, women also know sports way more than us. But now let's just bring up our great guest on. She has a YouTube channel called SheGotSports. Her name is Lauren. Welcome on the 49ers Ultimate Report.
Hey, Jon Jay. Thank you so much for having me. I love your border, by the way. I just wanted to say that. It looks really nice. Like, your background is, I gotta get one of these set up on my live streams. That background is very nice.
Oh, if you need a background, let me know. Just hit me up. Tell me how you want it to be designed, and I'll hook you up. If you
thank you.
Yeah. I always hook up my friends and even my great content creators if they need something free of charge, because that's a good person who I am. Yeah. I also want to remind everybody about my channel members. All right. So before we start off the show, let's welcome in our guests. So talk about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What's your YouTube channel about?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Lauren. I have a YouTube channel called SheGotSports. I mainly focus on football. I'm a Giants fan, which is tough right now. And I do a lot of NFL content. I cover all the teams in the NFL. Try my best not to be biased, even though I know sometimes even if you try not to be biased, like your heart just makes you a little biased, even if you can't tell. But yeah, bunch of NFL content, live streams before the game Sunday, and yeah, I just like football, guys.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to those in the chat. Big Play
Slay, what's going on?
He must be a huge fan.
No, he's always in the live streams.
And then CG Ruthless Sports, what's up, man? I think he really wants to collaborate with you.
Oh yeah, sure.
He's a good dude.
Messages, I think, are the best way. I was just saying I'm really bad with my messages because I got like ADHD, so my head is all over the place. But I think messages are the best. And just messages I think are the best way to set that up.
And then of course, Amin the Dream. He's only a kid. He's 13, 14 years old. He's a very smart kid. I encourage you to check him out. He's a very knowledgeable guy.
Definitely.
Amin the Dream. Come on, man. I got to get you on, man. Let me know how I can, get you on. He's a really good dude. I just talked about him, David, one of my channel members. If you would like to support the channel, don't be afraid to. It's very affordable. I'm not doing this, to profit. I love doing what I love doing. But shout out to my good boy, David. And yeah, big place there. All right. He's leaving a lot of messages. So let's start off with something a little bit more interesting, is getting to know our guest. So, of course, I know everybody wants to know how you started, how you become a sports fan. So let's start off with a two-part question. So let's get to know our guest. First of all, how did you become a sports fan? Did you play sports? Was it something like more family, parents, to their kids? And then also talk about your channel. Why did you start it? What is all your channel about?
Yeah, for sure. So how I became a sports fan, honestly, I don't really know how it started. I mean, I always played sports when I was younger. Like I think I started playing soccer when I was like 3 or something, really little. Um, and I think the first team that I was actually really in love with was the Yankees. So I was born in 1999. So I grew up with Derek Jeter, and Derek Jeter was just like everything. Derek Jeter was my idol. Loved Derek Jeter. But as I grew older, I started to understand football more. I think it's easier to understand baseball when you're a kid. So I started watching football. The only Giants Super Bowl I remember watching was the most recent one, 2011 season one, because I don't know, the 2007 season one, all I remember was being outside of the dentist in the car. I think I was like in a car seat, and I was like, "Mom, like I'm very excited for the game," but I don't remember watching it. I was like 7 years old. But I really didn't appreciate those Super Bowls. Even the last Super Bowl, I just wasn't as big of a fan. Like I didn't really understand it the way I understand football now. So I guess that's how I got into football. I mean, I'm definitely the biggest sports fan in my family. My dad, he watches football, just not as much as me. His dad played football like in high school and stuff, and he was always a big football guy, but he was a Patriots fan. So like, but yeah, I think that's how I got into it.
Yeah, like for me, like the story that I tell most people that probably already been following me, already hear the story all the time, is that growing up, like my family's always been sports. My dad was like a semi-professional soccer player
Oh
in
wow.
South America, so he had really good game, but he loved American baseball. So he grew up watching Willie Mays, watching those guys back in the day, like during the droughts of the long day. So growing up in a baseball family, I wanted to be a baseball player. I played baseball, during Pee Wees. I was pretty good, at that level. But then what got me into football was basically the great, like basically great mentors, great family members who, like were there for me. And, just growing up, always being the sports, like sports has always been part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always great to know like how people became sports fans. And it's a quick reminder, like, why we follow sports. It's not just, because, we just want to follow a team. There's always a good meaning behind it. So that was
Exactly.
that's wonderful to hear. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. It's called SheGotSports. What, when you were creating it, did you just want to like just be in front of a camera and just talk sports, or what was that something that you really wanted to do?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny how it came about. Like when I was growing up, I wanted to be an athlete. Like I didn't know what sport I wanted to play. Like I wasn't good enough at any sport, literally, to go to like the professional level. Like from a very young age, like I think everyone knew like I was not like going to be like a professional softball player or soccer player or whatever. Like I just wasn't good enough. And my parents would tell me like, oh, why don't you be like a sports broadcaster since you like sports so much? So going into my junior year of high school, so I was like 16 at this point. I went to this like sports broadcasting, I guess you can call it like camp or like summer program. And they were talking about this kid who had a YouTube channel like where he talked sports. He did more like a broadcasting, like I feel like more newsy type videos, kind of different than what I do. But I heard them say that, and I was like, oh, like I think I can do that. And yeah, that's what I did. I started the channel, and it kind of just has evolved ever since then. I wasn't really taking it seriously then because I was 16, just out of my just out of my junior year of high school, probably like I think it was the end of my junior year of high school, right before my senior year. I was uploading like maybe once a month. Like I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. Like my friends didn't even know. Like just my parents knew. And then once I got to college, I think, you get your schedule changed. You're not at school like so long during the day. You have breaks in between your classes. That's when I really started to take it serious and started recording multiple times a week. So,
Yeah. So, like just looking at your channel and the growth of it, I give you 100% props. I
thank
started
you.
I started this year. I'm just over 1,000. So I know how hard it is. It must have been
That's a
really.
lot that's fast though for 1 year.
Mhm.
Because it's always so hard in the beginning just to, gain the momentum and build it up. But like I feel like once you get that momentum, once you get those 1,000 subscribers, it builds quicker, I guess you could say. But a
Yeah.
thousand in a year, that's quick.
Mhm. I want to give a big shout out to this guy, Coach Dante. He's a good friend of another YouTube content creator, Jay in the Bay. He's also a 49er guy and a bunch of other guys. So I want to give a shout out to this dude right here. And then, of course, here's the guy from also, he said he's from New York, Mr. YTC.
Yes. He comments on a lot of videos in the live stream. Giants fan.
Shout out, man. Thanks, man. Again, YTC. I love your content too, man. Thanks for your great support.
Oh, wait, this is who you were talking about.
Yeah, this is the guy.
I knew the name sounded familiar. I was like, why?
Yeah.
I was like,
hey, Mr. YTC.
Yeah, exactly. I know who you're talking
about. Your channel, man. That's right here. So that's good.
He's been subscribed for a long time.
Yeah.
To my channel.
Yeah. All right. So
years.
So let's talk about, Mr. YTC came at a good, moment. You are a Giants fan. Your team is 0-2. You saw both the games. So first of all, I just want to know how you guys how you're feeling.
This is the thing. I'm used to it, I guess. Well, maybe I'm not used to it. That's putting it too lightly. The Giants always start 0-2. I always have my hopes up. I think they started 1 year 1-0. I think when I was in high school, and I was literally going through my Snapchat memories towards the beginning of the season, like on my Snapchat, whatever. Like it just pops up like pictures I saved. It was like me wearing my Giants jersey, like being like, oh my god, I'm about to cry, like 1-0. Like I was just so shocked that they won whatever year that was. I think it was like 2016 maybe. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember, but. Listen, I had way higher. Sorry, let me just cut to the chase here. I had way higher expectations for this season. I thought they were gonna start 2-0, to be totally honest. But I don't feel great. But I feel like they could beat the Falcons. But I think I also said that before the Washington football team game. So it's tough being a Giants fan. It's tough. Yep. I've had 3 head coaches in my 4 years of college, so that kind of shows you where the organization's at.
Yep. No one can be like the 49ers. No, just joking.
Listen, 49ers are good, except the only bad thing is the injuries. I said that today. I was recording this video today. I was like, I was recording my power rankings. I was like, literally, I don't think there's a team that's had worse injury luck than the 49ers like these past 2 years.
Yep. Mr. YT says, I've been through it for 9 long seasons and 16 years in my life. Yeah.
Like I don't even. People are like, "Oh, 2 Super Bowls in your lifetime." I was like, "Well, I don't remember one, and the other one, I literally only remember the last play. Like I didn't appreciate it."
Mm-hmm. I was actually happy that the Giants won those Super Bowls against the Patriots because I'm not a Patriot fan. So that's the only thing I will say about the Giants. Thank you for winning. Yeah. Yeah. So that Thursday night game, against the Washington football team, one thing that I was saying is that what if I don't know who the wide receiver was who dropped the ball in the end zone.
Oh, Darius Slayton.
How do you drop the ball in the end zone? You're not guarded. All you have to do is extend your arm, grab that ball. And one thing about football, because I also coach football, is I always tell make sure you catch that ball and don't think about the 80-yard run or whatever. Just catch the football. And just imagine if he would have caught that football, that game would have been very, very different.
As soon as that happened, I thought back to the Evan Ingram drop versus the Eagles. I was like, oh no, we're gonna lose this game now, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Giants are gonna lose this game now, aren't we?
All right, shout out to my boy Pioneer. He's a diehard 49er fan. He's probably one of the most critical of his team. He's a really good.
You guys are undefeated.
Yes. Shout out to Pioneer. So besides, the 2 early games, it's still a long season. There's still 15 games.
Extra game this year.
There's that extra game, it's
like one of those losses doesn't even count that much then. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so basically, there's still 15 games left. You talk about the Atlanta Falcons, their defense, I think the Falcons could be one of the bottom teams in the league. I'm sorry to say that for any Falcons fans, but Matt Ryan, he can't do it all. So besides the Falcons, and then you look at the rest of, your divisional games and the rest of the games during the season, do you think that the Giants can still salvage, their season?
I'm going to be optimistic right now because we're not a bunch of days, but a few days removed from the loss. And I'll say, yeah, they could still salvage the season. If you asked me that Friday, I would have been like, oh my God, like it's over. The season's over. Like I was really feeling that way Friday. But Philly, what's going on? I've collabed with Philly. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think they can still salvage the season if they. I feel like okay, get the bad losses out of the way early. Like I think this last loss was a gut punch, and hopefully they'll make some big adjustments. So I feel like they can definitely still salvage the season. A lot of the players on offense were injured in training camp and didn't really participate. No one really played much in preseason. Daniel Jones played one half of a preseason game. That was it. So maybe they just need to take a while to get going. That's the optimist in me. That's the optimistic side of me. But there's also a pessimist in me that's like, it's going to be just like every other year. So
shout out to Philly.
Yeah, Philly's awesome.
Yeah.
I did a collab with him last year, I think, or this year.
Yeah, he was on my show last Saturday because I have this new series called, the 49ers debate the opponents. The
oh yeah, because you guys played each other.
Yeah, and he was very more optimistic about his team. I think I remember the score. He said it was 27 Philadelphia, 17 the 49ers. But I was saying that if our corners would play well, and our corners played really well. And I also said if Nick Bosa would dominate, and he dominated against that left tackle.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa is just like my boy, the Beast Rider. He's a podcaster. He worked with the 49ers. He works now with the NFL. And he was telling me, Jon Jay, he's going to be the defensive player of the year. So he's playing like that. So, but shout out to this dude. It was a great debate having, with this guy. So yeah, shout out to this guy. All right. So we're entering, week 3 now, but I wanted to get your final thoughts on, week 2. Of course, all the games are over, but I just want to get your final thoughts and some of the games that you were very interested, and some of the games that you were kind of surprised. So, were there any games that stood out to you, and what were your thoughts on week 2 in general?
Yeah, so I think the first game that stood out to me was probably the game that stood out to everyone, which was the Sunday Night Football game. I mean, that was an awesome game. Like, I love offensive football. So having those two quarterbacks go head to head and having both those two quarterbacks just keep scoring was so much fun. And yeah, I really like that game. I'm happy the Ravens finally got a win versus the Chiefs. I love Patrick Mahomes. I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan, but I feel like Lamar gets way too much hate for someone who won MVP in his second season in the league. Like, I've never seen an MVP get that much hate. But he really put the team on his back in the fourth quarter because they couldn't stop him. They didn't know if he was going to throw it or pass it. And I feel like the thing is this. With Lamar, yes, sometimes he makes mistakes in the passing game and reading the defenses and stuff, but he's usually able to make up for it a ton because of what he can do in the run game. He's just so unpredictable. And even if you do know he's running, he's so slippery. Like, anytime someone tries to tackle Lamar, you just see like their hands like slip off him. He's just so slippery when he runs. And that game was just so much fun. Just the drama in that game was awesome. I love that game.
And see, Amend the Dream has a question. Do you think drafting Saquon Barkley was still a good pick? If you look back at it, now you guys could have had Lamar or Allen.
Okay, so I'll say this. I don't think they were going to draft a quarterback that year. The Giants were very, very attached to Eli. Like, I feel like they weren't going to draft a quarterback until the Daniel Jones year, which is when they did draft a quarterback. I think they would have drafted Quentin Nelson maybe, but I just don't think they would have drafted a quarterback. Am I still out on the Saquon pick? I wanted them to pick Saquon. I love Saquon. I still love Saquon. I have a Saquon jersey. I think this season will really tell if it was a bad pick. I mean, personally, like, I love Saquon. Like, if we're just talking about, like, not where he's drafted or anything, I love Saquon. I think he's, like, a great dude. Like, he was born in New York. I think he's just an awesome football player. We'll have to see how he bounces back, though. And I think then you'll really be able to tell if that number 2 overall pick was a good spot to select him. But I don't know, like, he's had like over 2,000 yards from scrimmage in a season. I think the big question is, though, how does he bounce back from the ACL?
Yeah, so I need to ask you a question because I know besides last year has he had injuries, since he's been with the Giants? Because I remember, I think there was one season he got hurt. So
Yeah, his ankle.
yeah.
I think it was a sprain, but I don't know what grade the sprain was. And he might have come back a little early from that injury. But he still got over 1,000 rushing yards that season. I think he missed like 4 games or something. But besides that, there hasn't been any like major injuries or anything.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mr. YTC. One thing I like about Lamar is his ability to improvise plays on the fly. When his first read is gone, which Jones has gotten better, but his struggles with his first 2 reads.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Jones definitely had struggled in the past with just locking in on one receiver, his first read, and then not looking at anyone else on the field. He like kind of stares down his receivers. He did a better job versus Washington, but I want to see him play the way he played versus Washington, like for 5 games in a row or something. Like I just need to see that more consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So back to the question: were there any other week 2 games matchups that you were a little bit like, like, oh wow, this were some fun games, or
Yeah, I love the Chargers Cowboys game. I watched that one live too. Crazy. That was a clutch field goal by Greg the Leg, as they call him. But that's another game where like I love offensive football. I love quarterback play. Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert, like a great quarterback matchup there. The defense both defenses got some turnovers in that game, but I really liked watching that game live. Trying to think what other games did I watch. I usually go back Monday morning and rewatch all the games because I obviously can't watch all of them at once. What games did I rewatch? I rewatched the Arizona game. Kyler looked really awesome. I know he threw 2 interceptions, but like 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Super fun to watch.
Yeah, Kyler Murray
missed field goal.
I know Kyler Murray. One of the things that people criticize is he's not tall enough. But if you can play football, you can play football. It's just of course he's not a typical quarterback. He's much shorter than Russell Wilson and Drew Brees was. Because those guys were at least 6 foot,
and he has a small frame too.
But the thing about it is that he's very quick, and as a 49er fan, I'm gonna give the Cardinals, fans, anyone who's watching, he's quick, and our defenses for some reason have never done well with mobile quarterbacks. So I'll give him that. But when he's in the pocket, our defense basically shuts him down because mobile quarterbacks, if you keep them in the pocket, that's a good way to neutralize them. You never want to blitz. You never want to like edge rush, like all of that stuff. You try to make sure you are blitzing, but you make sure you have some linebackers, covering back and some guys, going in there. So I would say that about Kyler Murray. And as a 49er fan, they got lucky. So I have to say that they got really lucky.
He almost went to the Oakland A's, though. I mean, he almost was in the Bay Area, I guess.
Oh yeah,
MLB draft.
I saw him in Oakland when he was working out in the Coliseum. And this was when he was still in college. He came out there during a spring training, and dude was really good. He was really good. He reminded me of Altuve. So.
Oh really?
But I think he loved, like Russell Wilson. I think he loved football more than baseball. So I think he's more happier playing football than baseball. Because I will say this, as a guy who lives in the Bay Area, players who go to Oakland, they don't have a long future. They're there, they develop, and if they can't pay them, they ship you off. So I think it was a smart thing for him to do because he would only been here for maybe 4 years, and if he became an all-star, an MVP candidate, he would have been shipped out somewhere else. So
I think it's crazy how he almost, like I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, it's crazy how this guy almost didn't play pro football. Like remember it was I'm just going to OU to play for 1 more year and then I'm going to play for the A's. And I feel like we just forgot about how close this guy was to almost just playing baseball. It just shows how like insane of an athlete he is.
Yeah. All right. So now, because this is the 49ers Ultimate Report, I want to get your thoughts on what you think about my team, the best team in the NFL. I had to say that.
All right. No, yeah. Rep your team. What do I think about them? Okay. So I was very high on the 49ers coming into this season. I thought they were a Super Bowl contender because what they did last season with basically like their whole team being injured was really impressive. And I mean, unfortunately, they still have injuries this year, which stinks. Like that's the worst luck. But I'll say this. I'm impressed with what they've done so far, but I want to see them have one more. I want to see them have like a more dominant win versus maybe like a playoff team. Like I know the Lions game, it was close, and I know it was maybe like garbage time got like maybe the 49ers started garbage time in their head a little too soon, took their foot off the gas a little too soon. But I think the Eagles are a solid team, so I don't think that's like a bad win or whatever. Like I don't think it's bad that game was close because I think the Eagles are a solid team this season, way better than I expected them to be this season. But I'll say this: I'm very, very excited to see whenever Trey Lance starts because I think he has so much potential and just like everything he can do on the field, the size, the speed, the arm. Like I'm very excited for whenever he starts. Do you guys have an idea? I'm curious. Like, do you have a timeline in your head when you think Trey Lance will actually become the starter?
So here in 49er land, I want to give you a little secret.
Okay, I'm excited. I need the inside scoop.
We've been arguing about this question for months, and not just when we traded up to number 3, but going back to when Jimmy Garoppolo was basically finally benched for the year because he could not play with 2 high ankle sprains. So the conversation with them, and even before that, during that Super Bowl run, there was always a lot of questions with Jimmy Garoppolo. So when it comes to Trey Lance, I scouted him during the season was still going on because I knew that we had to move away from Jimmy, at that point. Jimmy's a good player. He's a good guy. Like there's a lot of, there's a lot of beat writers and people who know him. He's a really good dude. It's just that he's more of a quiet guy. He's not a, major leader. He follows, the instructions that Coach Shanahan tells him to do. So when it comes to that, he's an overpriced game manager. And personally, you don't want to pay someone elite money if they're just a game manager. But when it comes to Trey Lance, one thing about Trey Lance that I really saw was he was the only quarterback that played under center. A lot of the quarterbacks were always shotgun. And college, they're moving more to that shotgun. And Kyle Shanahan, he's arrogant and he has an ego. So, he has his own way. And that's one of the reasons why, he created this situation. But Jimmy right now, as long as he's playing well, and I'm not asking him to be elite, as long as he's playing well and we're winning, he's going to be there. But worst case scenario, like basically the good news for the Trey Lance supporters is that if by week 10, if Jimmy, is just not the guy who is going to put that team over, I've been saying that Trey Lance will start in week 10 if Jimmy isn't doing his job correctly. And the reason why I say that is that he's playing good right now. He's doing really, really, really good. Mm-hmm. But we got 3 tough games. The Packers, they're healthy, and we're not. So
yeah,
the Seattle Seahawks, we always are nail-biting with that organization. I don't like the Seahawks for not just, but other personal reasons. And then we got to play the Cardinals. And then we have a bye. And then the Colts, that's a manageable game. But after that, we got the Cardinals. So the Niners have some really tough games coming up. And Jimmy has to play really well enough because if he starts to, cost us some games, Trey Lance is what I've been saying for many, many months. Trey Lance's time is sooner rather than later. And that's my point of view of the Trey Lance situation.
Thank you. I wanted to hear some people who are in the Bay Area. I wanted to hear some 49ers fans' perspective on it. Because I'm just an outsider, really, and I'm like, I would like to see Trey Lance play, but what I like doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing for the organization.
Yeah, so Luke Luna, who's a good channel member, I wanted to bring his comment first before everybody else. This guy he's a big Jimmy Garoppolo guy. He says, Jon Jay, Jimmy isn't getting paid elite money. He's getting $27 million. Dak is getting $42 million, and up, that's elite money. Well, yeah, shout out to Luke Luna. He's one of the most optimistic fans when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo, but Luke Luna.
No, I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo either. I'm just curious to see what Trey Lance can do.
I know, but $27 million, that's still a lot of money to pay a quarterback.
At the time that they paid him, I think it was really high too.
Yeah. So, But hey, Luke Luna, like I said, if Jimmy balls out and he's correct, I will be the first person to apologize to you, man. Because I'm very I'm realistic. I go one game at a time. After we beat the Lions, all right, we're done with the Lions. Once we beat the Eagles, we're done. Now we have to focus on the Packers, and that's finally going to be the start of our season to see how
Yeah,
Jimmy.
that's gonna be an interesting game.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Luke Luna, one of my channel members. So yep, good guy. All right. So let's talk about tomorrow. It's week 3. This game, the Panthers versus the Texans. I'm not sure if it's one of the most talked about, games, this Thursday, because the Texans, I don't know what to say about the Texans. They got lucky week 1. They did play against the Jaguars. That team isn't good neither. And the Panthers,
Yeah.
they've been playing really, really well, but they did play against the Jets. So I'm not saying anything. So when you look at this, matchup, previewing this game, what do you think is the storyline, and what should fans be, if they want to watch this Thursday night game? Because I personally may not watch this game because it might be boring.
Yeah, so honestly, when I saw this game, I was like, oh, that's not the best Thursday night matchup. But I'm like, it's okay. It's week 3. Football's back, I'm going to watch it and enjoy football for all its footballness. But I think this game would have been honestly much better if Tyrod Taylor wasn't injured. Because the Texans were honestly playing well versus the Browns when Tyrod Taylor was in. I think it was a tie game at half or something. And unfortunately, Tyrod got injured again. So now rookie Davis Mills is going to play. And I hope Tyrod doesn't lose the starting job again because, Tyrod with Cleveland, he gets injured. Baker becomes a starter, never gets it back. Last year with the Chargers, the doctor, messes up. He gets injured. What was it, his rib in his lung or something crazy like that. And then, he loses the starting job. So hopefully this injury isn't too long term for Tyrod. But I don't know how I feel about Davis Mills stepping in week 2 versus a Carolina Panthers defense that's honestly pretty solid. I mean, look what they did versus Jameis. Jameis looked like a totally different quarterback than he did week 1.
Mm-hmm. I want to give a shout out to Luke Luna. Thanks very much for letting me know. For those who are just tuning in, the 49ers Ultimate Report, also, we do a lot of giveaways, and my channel got 1,000 subscribers this month, and Luke Luna won a Patrick Willis 49er jersey. So be like Luke Luna, subscribe to the channel, have your notifications, because I love Patrick Willis. I have a lot of great stories about Patrick Willis, and Luke Luna has been one of the biggest supporters of this channel since, he's been following me. He has my channel membership, and guess what? Be like Luke Luna. Don't be afraid to join the channel membership. Don't be afraid to subscribe, because I'm doing even more giveaways, and as my channel gets bigger, maybe in the future I may give out, tickets for those who want to watch games at Levi Stadium, maybe even more jerseys. So thanks, Luke Luna, for letting me know that. He's a really good dude, so I really, really appreciate that. So yeah, he's also one of my channel members. So remember, follow the 49ers Ultimate Report. I'm the only 49er content creator that gives back to his audience. Nothing negative to all my great friends out there, but when I made this channel, it's always about the followers like Luke Luna and everybody else. So thank you very much, guys, for the great support. All right. Yeah, so my thoughts of the Panthers, I think that they are a good team. I don't think they're probably at the same level as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but so far they've been playing really, really well. The Saints, they had a blowout against the Packers, and then I don't know what happened. They lost their following game, so that was a huge question mark. So the Saints, I've always put a question mark because I don't know how they're going to be without Drew Brees. They do have a defense. They do have a running back. Their wide receiver core may not be the best because I think Thomas, he's out for a while.
Yeah.
So the Panthers, they could be that dark horse team of that division. So we'll see what happens. And if the Panthers basically, if they win this game, it's going to be because of technicality, because, the Texans, there's a lot of question marks. Like besides the Deshaun Watson fiasco, which I'm not even going to bring up, it is what it is, now. Tyrod Taylor, that guy, for some reason, he always gets hurt. at the
Yeah.
worst time. When he went to Cleveland, he was supposed to be the guy, to give Baker time to develop. He got hurt.
Yeah.
He goes to the Chargers. Guess what? You have Herbert behind him. Herbert balls out because a doctor punctured his lung, and now he gets hurt 3 years in a row with 3 different teams. So that was very, very crazy for.
Unfortunate. I feel bad for him.
Yep. So that's really good. Thank you, Luke Luna, for your super sticker, man. That's too kindly, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's see. We have Jets gang. I think I know who this guy is. Panthers have a good defense. Burns better than Bosa. Burns better than Bosa. No, Jets gang. No, Jets gang. If I know who you are, and my boy Tommy Huxley, who's not here at the moment, I think I know who you are. I'm sorry, Bosa, the best defensive end in the NFL. Period. I'm not even going to argue that. So I'm sorry to say that. What's up, Payo Time? He's a good Rams content creator. He's from Canada.
Oh, really?
He's from Canada. He loves his Rams. And
it's a good time to be a Rams fan.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you on when we pay you Payo Time. But anyway, all right. Now, basically, we talked about all the topics. Now comes our finale called the 2-minute drill. So let me explain for those who are first time ever. So for those who've been following me, all of my great guests, I've had so many guests. I can't even count how many guests I've had. I've even had a professional former 49er Super Bowl champion on my roster. I've also had the great Steve Weich, NFL Network. So I've been very blessed to have these great experts. This is called the 2-minute drill. So for if this is your first time here, I'm gonna give my guests some very tough questions, and let's see how my guests. I am just joking.
Oh,
they're fun, interactive.
Like hopefully no math questions. I'm not very good at math.
So here is the 2-minute drill. Our guest answers very tough. I am just joking. Fun question. So
I'm excited.
Let's start off. All right, because you are a Giants fan, who on the team right now do you like root out of everyone? Who's like the person you're like, I like this guy. I have his jersey or whatever.
It has to be Saquon. I got a Saquon jersey before week 1, so it has to be Saquon. I just got the jersey.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
It's got to be Saquon.
Yeah. My favorite player probably is, everybody knows who his name is Fred Warner.
Oh, he's a beast. He's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a little bit biased because his father follows me on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, basically Fred Warner Sr. One day I got a Fred Warner. I thought it was just a person, and then he emailed me. He said, nice to meet you, Jon Jay. I saw you on another podcast with the Beast Rider, who's a good friend of mine. He's also an NFL content creator, but he covers all NFL teams, and he's he works with the NFL Network, so he's a good dude. So because of his connection, Fred Warner's father. So I'm a little bit biased because his dad's following me. So Fred Warner Sr., if you watch this later, shout out to Fred Warner Sr.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Come on here.
I'll try. Like if I can get Fred Warner's father, that'll be really, really fun.
Yeah, that'd be.
I have a lot of questions I want to ask about it. Yeah. All right. So you like the Giants. So is there any retired player that you really like from the Giants?
Oh, yeah. I mean, now he's retired. That's Eli. I mean, I grew up watching Eli. Like, I don't even remember a time before Eli was not the quarterback. Like, I don't remember Eli not being the quarterback of the Giants until Daniel Jones. Like, Eli was there for like 20 years of my life. Like, I mean, I know he wasn't there when I was like 4, but it just seems like I watched Eli my whole entire life, growing up, everything. Like, I love Eli, man. Like, Eli means so much to me. So yeah, his jersey's getting retired this weekend. But yeah, I absolutely love Eli.
Shout out to my boy Niner Sickness. He is an OG 49er. He goes way before I was even alive. Niner Sickness. He's an OG. He has his own YouTube channel. He talks about the red and gold. So this guy right here, I also had him on my channel. He's a really good guy. You should check him out. He's an OG 49er fan. So shout out to my boy Niner Sickness. All right. Let's move on to our next question. So say you were somehow in the NFL. I don't care if it's a guy or a woman. I don't care.
Okay.
In my world, women are also playing football. But if you say we're playing for your favorite team or in the NFL, what position would you want to play?
Oh, I think I would want to play quarterback. I think I would like, just kind of being in charge of the offense. Being able to throw the ball, audible if I wanted to do a run play or something. Whenever I play Madden, I always play as like the quarterback. Like if I'm doing just like a single play or like like face of the franchise or whatever, I always play as the quarterback. So I love quarterbacks.
So basically, because I was shouting out my boy Niner Sickness, you got to Google. I don't know if you know it. Brian Young is my former 49 who's retired. He was underappreciated. Brian Young. He played his rookie season. He won the Super Bowl after that. Brian Young was there during the end of the Steve Young, Jerry Rice dynasty, during the Jeff Garcia, Terrell Owens, and Steve Mariucci, and even during the tough times. Brian Young is a really cool dude. He was the silent assassin. He was quiet. He, never controversial. But when he was on the field, that guy was very, very dangerous. So that's my favorite player who's retired. And of course, I love to play safety and corner for some reason. I played football a little bit, more of a wide receiver. Never liked the wide receiver, special teams. I wasn't really good at football, but I always wanted to be like a safety because all of my friends and my closest friend who's funny, a Raiders fan, he played safety and I watched him and he was pretty good. Wasn't like the top guy on the team, but he was pretty good. So that is the answer to that question.
Yeah, safety seems like a cool position to play because you kind of just can like roam around almost. I would not want to play running back though. That seems like a brutal position.
Let's see. Shout out to my boy, 49ers First Takes. I try to model my channel with a lot of 49er, content creators, but this was the first guy I subbed to besides a few other guys. He's probably the most very mellow guy. He's also from the East Coast. He's from Buffalo area.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Same state.
Yeah, so check out my boy 49ers First Takes. And he gave me a $5 super chat. Too nice of you, man. Like I said, I owe a lot of my success with yours because I look at your channel when there's breaking news because you always keep me up to date to my boy 49ers First Takes. Yeah. So thanks for that super chat. All right. Now we're going to go to the second part of our very, very tough segment, the 2-minute drill. More harder questions. Again, I am just joking. All right. These questions, let's get to know our guest in a personal in a personal level. So what is your favorite food? Is there like a breakfast dish or a lunch dish, a dinner, or a dessert?
Well, I love food. My favorite food. I love pizza. I love ice cream because you like very nutritious things I'm picking here. Pizza, ice cream, I love French toast.
Mm-hmm.
I like pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say those are like some, and I like chicken nuggets and French fries. So I would say those are some of my favorite foods.
Mm-hmm. And see, me, because I'm half Italian and a mix of other stuff as well, I love good pizza. And when I mean good pizza, I don't like the Pizza Hut or Domino's, that stuff.
Yeah.
I go to the good mom and pop shops, and there used to be a really good mom and pop shop near my house in my neighborhood. They used to make some really good pizza slices. I remember it was so cheap. You would go over there, and the owner, she was the nicest woman, and she would give the local kids free pizza because she was like a mother to the community.
That's so nice.
Did you eat? Did you eat? And we would say we would lie and say no, so we get free pizza. And she didn't care. We lied, And so one of the kids was like, "Here's a funny story." One of the kids was like, "Oh, I ate already. No, you go eat." And I was like, "Oh, I told you." And he was so mad. He had to eat he was eating the pizza all angry. I'm like, "Dude, you got a free slice of pizza." I don't like pizza. Growing up, I miss the days when I was a kid. Those were the fun days. So
yeah,
I love pizza.
Me too. You can never go wrong with a nice slice of pizza.
All right. So the next question is, of course, we're not always, on YouTube. We do have lives, but do you have a favorite TV show, or are there several TV shows that you love to watch, like you rewatch it?
Okay, so this is gonna sound really basic, but my favorite TV show of all time is The Office. Um, I don't know, it's like a comfort show for me. Like I can always watch it if I need something to watch before bed. Yeah, I love The Office. I don't watch a ton of TV. I honestly watch a lot of I honestly watch a lot of football shows. I watch like Friday Night Lights and Last Chance U and that kind of stuff. Um, what did I watch recently? I watched Outer Banks recently. That's like basic too. I watched Outer Banks recently. It's like pleasantly surprised. Um, but yeah, I like my favorite show is probably The Office.
Mhm. All right. I want to give a shout out to this guy. Hold on. This guy, Robert Watkins. He is a member of the Beast Rider family. Just like I said, the Beast Rider. He is a good dude. He really likes my content. So shout out to this dude. As I mentioned, I've got to meet a lot of great people on this wonderful journey, doing this YouTube stuff that before I would not know. So I have to give a shout out to my boy, Robert Watkins, and he says you like junk food.
I do like junk food. I literally can't lie.
All right. Let's see. All right. Uh, do you like to watch movies? And is there like a favorite movie or like a movie genre? That
Yeah, I love watching movies. I don't watch as many as I like because, like I said, terrible attention span. Like, I think I'm like in the middle of like 5 movies right now because I just like pause them and then go do something else. Last night I watched Inception for the first time. I loved that. But I love science fiction, like books and movies. So I love both the Blade Runner films. They're both really awesome. Um, I love Back to the Future. Like that's one of my favorite like series, like trilogies. I love the first Back to the Future, the second Back to the Future, like such good movies. And I'm trying to think what other movies I like. Yeah, just like anything kind of in that science fiction genre. I like comedy movies too. But yeah, I think maybe like both the Blade Runners are maybe one of my favorites. I love the new one that came out, the 2049. That was a really good one with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, for the TV, like I like the basically like the bad guy who for some reason helps the good guys for whatever the reason, that type of TV genre. But I also like in 2019, my buddy got me to the Chicago Fire PD.
Oh, I've heard of those.
Yeah. So those are really good. I really like those shows for whatever the reason. So, and when it comes to movies, I'm very, very picky. I don't really like, science fiction movies. I don't really like the superhero movies, like all the like the X-Men, all that stuff, for whatever the reasons. But if there's a good movie on, I'll watch it. I like, a good backstory where like, the something happened to the villain that made him that way, and the good guy made that villain. Something like that for whatever. I like, like stories. Like you understand the story why the movie is going like that. So that's something I really, really like. Yeah. All right. And of course, the final question: do you like music?
Oh yeah, I love music. I listen to music. I probably listen to music like every day. Like, just like walking around. I was listening to some music this morning while I was working on like my power ranking. I like to listen to hip hop. And yeah, mostly hip hop.
Yeah. Like for me, I grew up, in the predominantly, black community. I was probably one of the most lightest kid in that area. Like all of my friends, I was probably they were always, I was the white kid, but they listened back then. I remember to the '90s hip hop, things like that. The parents listened to the '70s and '80s soul. So growing up in my environment as a kid, that's the music that I listened to. But then when I got into middle school and high school, I learned about pop music. I learned about classic music. I learned about country music. I learned about like rock and roll and all that other stuff. So as I got older, I started to listen to genre. But for me, good soul and R&B. Like I'm only 31, but that music somehow has really, really good great beats. So like I
Yeah.
said, I
My
love
my
that type.
mom listens to like 70s music like that in the car, so I'm familiar with a lot of those songs.
Yeah. All right. Final question. The final question. This is the easiest one. before we go, I want you to plug in all your social media. Of course, you have your YouTube channel. Let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you. Talk about your channel one more time. And of course, this is your time. Go ahead.
Thank you. So my YouTube channel is SheGotSports. My YouTube channel's social medias are at SheGotSports, like on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I also have my own social medias. I usually tweet from my own Twitter account during games and stuff, like just being like, oh no, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Oh, so bad, because that's what it's been like watching the Giants. So that Twitter account is at it's Lauren Russ, ITS LAURENRUSS, and my Instagram is at it's Lauren Russell. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Wonderful, 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 Bubby. So before we go, I want to give a shout out to all the non-49er fans from other channels that I follow. Of course, my diehard 49er fans as well. As we started this episode, apparently you're a legend because everybody knows who you are. And
I don't know if that would be that weird.
Yeah. Well, for me, that's who I am. I'm always very very humble, like over, give people so much praise. It's a person who I am, and I really like what you're doing. You're showing that this is not a guy's world anymore. This is also a woman's world. Like I said, women know sports, and if you find one who knows what they're talking about, listen to them because you can even learn something, from them. So shout out to your channel. As I mentioned, I follow you. I love your content. I don't watch everything because I don't.
Yeah, no, everyone's busy. I totally understand.
So that's basically everything. So make sure you follow her. She Got Sports.
Thank you.
Yeah, She Got Sport on her YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and try to get her to 10,000 because she's almost there.
Thank you. Yeah, we are almost there.
Yeah. So now, but with that said, thank you very much, Lauren, for hopping on the 49ers Ultimate Report. Everybody, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for the super chats, super stickers, and the channel memberships. But with that said, this guy over here, this is Jon Jay, red and gold, best team in the NFL. She is Lauren, also known as her YouTube channel, She Got Sports. And this is the 49ers Ultimate Report. I am signing out. You guys have a great rest of your day.